There's a huge difference between fresh caught salmon and farm raised salmon. So in today's episode, I'm going to tell you what the differences are, and I'm going to show you how to cook it. And I'm going to tell you that one is fantastic and one is absolute garbage. So let's get started. Hey everybody, I'm Dave and welcome to Dave's Taste Buds. Today we're going to talk about salmon. There is a huge difference between your nice fresh caught salmon. I don't know if you can get an even closer look at this, but if you zoom in, see how red that is? It's got the skin on it. It smells a little bit like fish. It's not overly fishy. This is the way your salmon's supposed to look, and this looks like this naturally. As opposed to this, which is farm raised, came in frozen, probably in a humongous, pen in the ocean with just bazillions of salmon in it, swimming around, getting fed absolute crap. So they feed farm-raised salmon with everything from chicken, soy, chicken fat, cornmeal. It's nasty, nasty stuff. It's not what they're supposed to eat. This, they eat krill, they eat shrimp, they eat plankton, they eat other small fish, they eat algae, they eat everything they're supposed to eat. And if you see the color on this and the color on this is like, it's almost gray. And in fact, the only reason it's not completely gray is because in the feed that they feed salmon that are farm raised is a red dye. If they didn't put red dye in their feed, this would be entirely gray. This wouldn't even be pink at all. So, this full of omega-3 fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory, super good for you in a bazillion different ways. These, because of the crap that they eat, is full of omega-6 fatty acids, which are super inflammatory, full of GMOs, full of antioxidants. It's just trash. So if you're gonna get yourself a piece of fish and you're gonna cook it and you wanna eat it and you don't wanna feel like shit afterwards and you don't wanna know you're eating, yikes! This is what you wanna get. Granted, this is like, I bought this at a local fish market. Shout out Woods, Plymouth, Town Wharf, check it out. This was about $19 a pound. This is probably, you could get this, I got this in the freezer section. It was like $7 a pound and it's worth probably about $2 a pound. It's trash. You can get kind of an in-between. There's a system called IQF, which stands for Instant Quick Frozen. So if they catch them, in the wild, they instant quick freeze them, they ship them across the country, they thaw them out. So it's previously frozen. It's better than this. It's not the greatest. There's an in-between. So if you want to go in an in-between, that's okay. But just know if you're going to go into your local fish market and you're going to walk into the freezer section of your, wherever you shop, there's going to be a big difference. And now that we know the difference and now that we know what you should be eating, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the most basic way to do it. There's 1,000 different ways to cook your salmon. You can cook it in the oven. You can cook it out on your grill. I'm just going to do a quick pan sear for you guys today. But if you want to see me do something else, let me know. In fact, while we're at it, right down there's a little red button that says subscribe. All you gotta do is click that thing. Do me a solid, give that thing a click and subscribe. So now, without any further ado, let's cook up this salmon. So what I like to do first is I like to treat these like regular beef steaks. So I do take them out of the refrigerator for about 10-12 minutes. I kind of let them get to room temperature a little bit and then I hit them with some salt and some pepper. I like to use the ground up pink Himalayan sea salt. It's really just my choice. You can use whatever you want. Kosher is popular too. That's fine. But when it comes to pepper, always fresh ground. So these have been hit with salt and pepper. Kind of let them sit there for a couple minutes, absorb that salt in there nice. Got my pan, cast iron pan. Check out my other video on how to season this bad boy. On there, it's medium high heat. It's pretty hot. I like to hit it with a little oil first. And I do like to use a little bit of butter in there with it too. So I'll throw a little butter right in there. It's gonna heat up real fast. Now, I'm gonna take a nice piece of salmon and we're just gonna lay this right down in here, skin side down. Get a nice little sizzle. These are not going to take long to cook. They're not very thick. I'm guessing 3 or 4 minutes tops on both sides on this kind of heat. Gonna give them a little sear. I'm kind of doing it side by side. I'm just gonna do one of each piece so you can take a quick look at it. So I'm gonna come back in a couple of minutes. So after a couple of minutes, you can tell it's starting to get a little bit cooked around the edges, that kind of thing. This one's gonna be much quicker than this one. It is hard to not to, but you really don't want to try to fiddle around with it too much. You don't want to move it around too much. You might want to give it a little shift just to make sure it's not sticking. And as you can see, it's not. We're going to let this cook a little bit longer. This one we might give a quick flip. Yep, we're good. Just going to flip this one real quick. It's got a nice little sear on it. It's really the only thing saving it from itself because it's, it's trash. But, you do what you can. Pan's a little hot. Get a little bit of smoke in here. Look at this. Looking like it's searing nice. We're gonna give this one a little flip. Right back on there. Look at that. Not everybody eats the skin on the salmon. I do. You should. It's got a lot of nutrients. It's got a ton of flavor. Really, to me, almost the best part. A little bit of smoke going on here while it's cooking. Now, you really want to shoot for an internal temperature on these things of about 120 degrees Fahrenheit in the middle. That'll get you to a medium rare. You don't have to cook the hell out of these things, especially fresh salmon. It's just the kind of thing that you can treat it just like a steak. I'm going to roll it a little bit, try to get that edge, a little bit of sear on it. This thing's going to come to temp really quick. Look at that. Not bad. I'm going to pop this one off. Put that right up there. Call that one done. This one, a little thicker, obviously going to take a little bit longer. Even if you're not going to eat the skin, don't take it off, because what it does too is it helps to hold the fish together. Especially on fresh salmon, you start taking the skin off, you try to mess with it a lot, it's going to, the fibers are going to break down, it's going to start to come apart on you. You don't want to do that. So just like a steak, I'm going to take this off and I'm going to let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes. Let it cook a little bit more. I'm not even going to temp it because I'm sure it's fine. Like I said, you can eat it just like a steak. You can do rare, you can do medium rare, you can do medium well, however you want it. That's up to you. Kill the heat here. Pop this on. I'm going to give it a nice little flip right on there. Look at that. Look at that. That's what you want. We're talking nice pink color, nice crust on the top, got a nice sear, got your fresh ground pep hitting that thing. You got this one looking better than it did before. So let me get everything shut down and out of the way, and then we'll taste them. So I've cleaned up the counter, let these things rest a little bit. Not that we even have to even pretend which one is better. I mean, this one is so far superior to this, but I'm gonna taste them anyway. So I'm gonna grab a fork. I don't know about you guys, but I have this thing with forks. They have to be a certain weight. I like the tines to be a certain length. It has to feel like a fork. Nothing too short, nothing too wide, nothing too... Anyway, I have a real fork situation. So if you agree, if you have a fork situation or another utensil that you hate or love, whatever, and you just wacko about it like me, leave a comment below. I'd like to know that I'm not alone out there in my craziness when it comes to forks, but certain fork, favorite fork. Now, let's go ahead. I mean, not flaky, cooked all the way through, grayish, pinkish. Yeah. This could be, if I was blindfolded, you could tell me this is a piece of chicken. Like, what the hell? Anyway, let's try this one. Flaky, comes right apart. I'm kind of cutting into the middle a little bit so I can see. pulls right apart. A little bit of pink in the middle, the way I like it. The skin's underneath. We're gonna leave that alone for now. Ah, you son of a bitch. Oh, got a little bit of skin on this one. Let's just keep it simple, guys. Now, this is a sockeye. To me, it's the best of the best when it comes to salmon. Atlantic salmon is good. Your other salmons are good too. Sockeye's my favorite. It's the reddest. It's got the most flavor as far as I'm concerned. This is a no-brainer. This is fantastic. This isn't great. I mean, you could use this if you want to put on top of a salad in the summertime, something like that. You could make a sandwich out of it. It wouldn't be terrible. But like I said, could be chicken, could be tuna. I don't know. You know, eat it if you want. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's better for you than, you know, a big piece of lard, probably, maybe. Anyway, hands down favorite, fresh salmon.
Shout out to Woods.
Go out there. Shout out to Woods in Plymouth for hooking me up with this nice piece of salmon. So shout out to Woods, Plymouth Town Wharf. Go check them out. Unless you have to fly in from the other part of the country or another country. I don't know. Woods, check them out. So thank you for checking out this episode. Learn yourself how to cook some nice salmon. Don't be afraid to click on these other videos that I have going on. So check them out, subscribe, like, comment about the fork, comment about the salmon, comment about whatever you want. Until next time, go cook something.